So I'm streaming chapter 4, but there's a newsletter. So I'm gonna go through that first, because I said I would go through that on stream. And I've already read this newsletter, but this newsletter is scaring me. I don't... Like, the way that I opened this newsletter, and I immediately was just like, oh flip. Because Freddy is there, perfectly happy, perfectly healthy, probably. Like, they're just sitting, chilling, hanging out. What if this is in chapter 6? What if this sprite is in chapter 6? What if this is a flashback, like, while he is dying? What if... I don't even know. Like, there's just, like, a flashback of, like, Rudy's happy moment. Oh my god, that would be so sad. Anyway, let's not... I don't want to speculate on that too much. Around a month ago, Deltarune Chapter 5 released. Did you notice? Yes. I'm pleased with the response to Chapter 5. Many friends told me that they loved it, and some people even cried a bit. Everyone's experience may vary, but if the game resonated deeply with a few players, I feel confident I'm moving in the right direction. Now that it's been a bit, I have a lot of info and concept art about Chapter 5 to share, so please click here and check it out. So there's just a bunch of concept art in here. Let's talk about Chapter 5. Before it's released, I described Chapter 5 as a fun chapter. Hopefully everyone understands what I meant by that, which is that it is fun. Anyway, there aren't any more chapters where we focus on goofy, attention-hungry Darkner characters with the potential to win weird popularity contests. But thinking about the structure of the story, I think it was a perfect spot to do it one more time. Even though it's only been 4 chapters since Chapter 1, I wanted Chapter 5 to feel like a mix of nostalgic fun, mixed with new unforeseen concepts. Music from Chapter 1 of Deltarune, characters that reference concepts from Undertale, etc. As for the new elements, this time we added a platforming system where you can jump around, attack, and act. Development started in October 2021, and with on and off programming by Ondi Dev, creative games such as Toby shares. Eventually, towards the end of Chapter 4, other members of the team were then able to take Ondi's prototype and develop it further. I haven't actually watched the videos, I decided to just do that on stream. I love how fast paced this is, I love that they're just going. I like the little like fake enemies. As usual, we created tons and tons of prototypes. There were a few design challenges with using the platforming system. I feel quite happy about its implementation in the final game, but here are some things you had to be concerned about. This is an RPG with focus on character interaction. If the game turns completely into an action platformer, it carries the risk of making the player feel like, why am I playing a knockoff of Hollow Knight instead of feeling like they were playing Deltarune? In order to inject some unique character-based elements to the gameplay, a platforming act system was developed in October 2024. A large amount of acts were considered for each character, but ultimately we found it most intuitive to just have Hanging with Ralsei and Moodbuster with Susie. Another important Deltaruneism was adding a lot of stupid optional dialogue for doing different things in the platforming mode, as well as having a couple RPG encounters accessible during that mode. This kept the mood from drifting too far from the main game. Another thing we had to keep in mind was that this could be somebody's first experience playing a platforming game. A terrifying thought, but technically possible. That's not quite true for me, but it's almost true for me because I don't really like platformers. I don't play platformers. At least not 2D ones. A Hat in Time is one of my favorite games, which is a 3D platformer. But I don't really like 2D platformers, so Deltarune is like one of the only ones I've played. Nothing in the game has demanded any platforming skills before this, so we kept the actual jumping challenges rather simple. On the other hand, it was way too fun to make difficult challenges, so we tried to include a couple of those in optional areas. I hope you enjoyed them. Ooh. Can you imagine we had to do that? Besides the platforming, another general challenge was writing a chapter that introduces 8 different characters to the main story without destroying the pacing. However, putting aside how good an idea that is in the first place, I feel like I managed to pull this off fairly well, showing off all the individual qualities of the different flowers without dragging the story down. Among my friends, everybody had a different favourite flower, and every flower was someone's favourite, so that's all I can hope for. I like that. I think that's nice. My favorite is Aqua, very closely followed by Blue, by the way. I'm drawn to Blue characters for some reason. Like, not on purpose, it just always happens. I love whatever he's wearing here. Is it like a zigzag striped shirt? So it's like, it's not... It doesn't match the kids because he's not a kid, but it's still a striped shirt like Asriel and Kara. Because that's kind of fun. 10 years ago, everyone was misspelling Flowey as Flowery, and it was driving me crazy, so I thought, wouldn't it be funny if there was another Golden Flower character actually named Flowery? Then everyone can misspell his name as Flowey too. See, this part confuses me because Papyrus does call him Flowery twice. So I'm like, how... I don't know. Like, is Papyrus related to this at all? I feel like that's something that could be added, like, now. Like, okay, yeah, Papyrus did mention Flowery, so let's make him relevant to Flowery. In some way, let's find some way to implement that. I don't know. The Golden Flower Gold was able to become his own Mary Sue character in the form of Flowery. He's trying to be perfect, but he doesn't know anything about what it's like to really live. His interpretation of the ideal man is totally alien and over the top. He looks like a generic anime guy and is far taller than a normal human. It's probable he chose his own theme song and plays it himself somehow, which, by the way, is basically just a misremembered version of only 8 seconds of the Full House theme song. And he must think this is awesome. I think it's awesome. I think that's funny. You can think of the other Flower characters in a similar fashion. Their designs may be strange, but that's because they had to decide who they wanted to be for themselves. I wonder what inspired each of their dreams. It's not really important, to be honest, it's just fun to think about. Hopefully none of this comes across as new information. I'm simply pointing out what was in the game. By the way, here's some concept art from Yatabe of Studio Kara for the animation. Her early concept art for the animation determined Flowery's outfit. Oh, it's taking me to Twitter. Hello. Oh, yeah, I've already seen this. Yeah, she posted this a while ago. He has different appearances in different situations. I like when characters have an inconsistent design like this, especially for a character like him. Maybe the inconsistency is his fault. Yeah. Does Flowery have an inconsistent design? Like, aside from his hair, I can't really think of anything that's inconsistent. Oh well. Other flowers. Here's some concept art of the other flowers. How many eyes does humans have again? Final alt hair. Wait. Oh, right. The bottom. No. It's just rounder. Pointier. Why is her neck different? Unless that's that one. That will be that one, yeah. I didn't have any trouble drawing her. She's obviously inspired by Touhou. By the way, the other day I talked to someone and they didn't know what Touhou was, so I was like, Bad Apple? I actually didn't know that that's what Bad Apple was. I learned that from this newsletter. I didn't know they were related things. And they were like, I thought that was a Hatsune Miku thing. That's not even sung by Hatsune Miku. I love this picture. It's amazing. Seth. The character Seth is inspired by the character named Seth from Legend of Kaya. They're both purple and wear glasses, but they don't have any other similarities beyond that. Originally, Seth's first concept had white hair and skin. That was a bit more lavender in tone, but when I showed it to my friends, they said, that's just, you know, from Steven Universe, so I changed it. I love the idea that Seth was just Amethyst with glasses. Green's appearance is inspired by the art style of my friend Splendid Land, who designed Hacker, Ambulance, and a couple other great guys. She didn't even know about this character until the game came out. That makes sense. Like, just looking at Green, that makes sense. Orange, it was hard to express the joy of her expression in such a small sprite. Look at her. Anyway, it was important to have one of the characters be a mouse to make it absurdly obvious how distorted their idea of humanity is. I love her. She's so cute. Look at her. Look at her little smile. He has a lot of concept art. I cannot say I like this design. I love his final design though. I love how very, very, very woody he is. Like, that's the right shirt texture and everything, and that's a sheriff badge. Or, well, it doesn't have a star, I guess. But it could have been a sheriff badge, you never know. He's so woody. I love it. Wait, what's that? Because I didn't actually... This tall? Oh, yeah. Is he only that tall? I thought he was taller than that. Yellow. He had two designs. In the earlier one from October 2016, he had more of a beard and was a cool, collected guy. Then I redrew him later in January 2020. He takes some inspiration from Woody from Toy Story. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that he took inspiration from Woody from Toy Story. I'm absolutely shocked. It was foreshadowed about in chapter 3 with some bath curtains. I think that's the full extent of the intentional cowboy foreshadowing I've done in my life. I love how much I love how much there was, how much substance there was for Friend Inside Me / Woody Theory. Enough for there to be two versions of Woody Theory, only for the cowboy bath curtains to be Ed. Just the cowboy character that we already should have known would be a cowboy because he's the Justice Soul, which had a cowboy hat and a gun. Someone on Twitter said that this looks like the hyperpigmentation meme, and I couldn't stop laughing for like 15 minutes. Because that's all I can see now. Also, I love him. He's so pretty. In the game, he has a different hairstyle during his face sprite. I thought it would be fun to provide multiple possibilities for what he looks like. Fair enough. I like that he did that because I like being able to pick like my favorite version and then draw that, or like combine what I like from both versions. I think it's fun. I really like how he's drawn on this bit. I do not like this. What's going on here? I like the wings though. Other enemy designs. I had two guest artists on this chapter to design enemies. Milna actually designed 4 enemies for this chapter. Shino Beetle, Terracotta, the Paw Archer, and the Mantis Dancer. Ultimately only 2 of them were used in chapter 5 anyway. So, does that mean that we'll see Archer and Mantis Dancer in a different chapter? Because, like, but I mean, they could be in Castletown. We could potentially fight them in Castletown, but like, they could also, if the next chapter is in the Holiday Manor, they could potentially be there because they've got so many of Asgore's flowers. It's not exactly unlikely that there's going to be like flower characters there. 2020. 2020. These were designed so long ago. This one's so cute. Oh my god. Hitoshi Ariga is a Japanese artist who's mostly well known for drawing the manga Rockman Megamix and designing a number of Pokemon, including the recently beloved Sneasler, Fluttermane, and Ogerpon. However, did you know that he also drew the character sprites for many classic games, including Illusion of Gaia? Anyway, he drew a bit of a fox character, and then I made some modifications for the game. I really like this bit. By the way, he and his family are immensely awesome and kind people. Oh, that's nice. Yes, musicians. Many people helped out with the music this time also. Garden of Hopes and Dreams, Carlisle Sign. Hard to believe it. This guy was a kid when he made his first Undertale jazz album. I'm super glad to be able to feature him in the game. Rakuichi Buster. Rakuichi. I originally featured his music in an earlier trailer for Deltarune, but as long as we were featuring a fancy version of Field and Hopes and Dreams, I wanted to make the battle theme fancy too. Cutie Mew Mew Magic Camellia. For this song, I arranged a demo of the first dozen seconds and then sent alongside a few minutes of me playing the piano and singing. Wait. Oh, that's fun. Also provided a text description of each part. Camellia did all of the actual work beyond that. Anyway, the chiptune demo I gave him was originally just the first 6 seconds of this, plus the melody, but I added more just now to make it worth listening to, thanks. That's really fun. Floribund Camellia. I actually tried to create this song 3 minutes. I actually tried to create this song by myself multiple times, and even tried multiple times to collaborate with different musicians to try to do a live version with vocals, but nothing turned out right with the samples I was using, so I ended up begging Camellia to arrange it using the earliest piano outline. This is gonna sound really cool. I think I'm in love. Deltarune logo, Itopiana. I made an outline of this song, she arranged it, then I mixed it back later with my own instruments. Also for the logo, it was inspired by the Sailor Moon R eye catch. Yes, artists. Also the creator of Fields of Mystery, Claire, drew Pink's talking sprites and basic overworld sprites for chapter 5. She's a great friend that encouraged me immensely to complete Undertale, so I'm super happy I got to work with her. I wish that this was higher up so that I could have had this playing while I was reading through, because now I need to... Wait a second, there's a third one. A third what? What's next? Chapter 5 was a really fun chapter. I like the Christmas sprite. This is definitely for castle time because that was decorated to look like Christmas. And with that last big burst of craziness out of the way, I'm sure everybody is eager for Deltarune to start directly tackling the main mysteries of the game. Me too! With chapter 5 we completed the last of the necessary setup for chapter 6 and 7. From chapter 6 onwards, there are no more wacky silly adventures, and you'll begin to see the results of the setup that has been made so far. I'm so scared. Chapter 6 is a shorter, straightforward chapter that focuses on one aspect of the story. Because of that, many things are still not touched on there. In fact, it may surprise you what was missing. But one thing will be clarified whether you're ready for it or not. So, I have no idea what I think might be missing. I've been trying to think about this all morning. But I don't know. Is it the Dark World? I don't think so, based on how the rest of this newsletter is going. Is it Castletown? No. Is it the Light World? No, we've already done that. Is it Ralsei? No, because we've already had the line the mage left the party, so that's not overly surprising. But what's going to be missing that would surprise us? Like, all I can think of is the Dark World, but I don't think it makes sense to be the Dark World based on how this is said. I really don't know. Is Riddy not going to be in this chapter at all? Like, or is it because it's chapter 6? Gaster's not going to be there, so we might be surprised that Gaster's not there because 6 is his number? I don't know. Or is Papyrus missing again? I don't know. Some of you may say, wait, you need to make the chapters longer, not shorter. That's an extremely reasonable concern, but by the end of chapter 7, I'm 100% sure you'll understand why I feel confident about the way I'm telling this story. Don't worry about the pacing until it's over. Also, just but one thing will be clarified whether you're ready or not. I forgot to talk about that. This is definitely the Death chapter, surely. It's either the Death chapter or the Night chapter, or both, because they're the same person. I think we're gonna learn about Death's disappearance. We're gonna learn what happened with her, and therefore learn who the Night is. And then we're not gonna learn any of the rest of the mysteries this chapter. We're not gonna learn about Gaster. We're not gonna learn about whatever. We might not even learn about the end of the prophecy. I'm not sure. Unless this is referring to the end of the prophecy, one thing will be clarified whether you're ready or not. Are we ready to hear the end of the prophecy? I don't know, because nobody seems to know what it is. I've never seen a theory that anyone like that felt confident. And nobody seems to agree that it's like, I mean, could we close Castletown? Maybe. Is the world gonna end? Maybe. Is Susie gonna die? Maybe. Is Relsey gonna die? Maybe. Like, nobody's confident on what's gonna happen, so maybe that's what that means. Bington Gaster commented on one of my videos. No way. Anyway, I believe we will be able to release Chapter 6 in 2027. That makes sense. Chapter 6 would be released by itself in case there's any question about that. Recently I finished writing a few more sequences towards the last third of Chapter 6 and rearranging the rooms to fit the new structure. Once we make these adjustments and tie everything together, we will be able to play a rough draft of the chapter from beginning to end. Barring any major restructuring, the main things that will continue to need development time are the boss of the chapter and polishing cutscenes. I have no idea what rearranging the rooms to fit the new structure means. What new structure? But like, what is the new structure? What does this mean? I guess the new structure, not fun, not silly. But does that mean even Castletown is going to be serious? Because I feel like surely not. I don't know. Hi, Plibby and Jungler. Jungler looks weird. I don't know. I think it's the like. Do they normally not have like blue line art on their legs or something? Or am I crazy? I don't know. Personally, I really don't read or watch theories. That's because I already know what my game is. However, I think it's amazing that people think about the game so much. It's not an exaggeration to say that thinking about this game can be just as much of the experience as playing it is. I agree! Anyone who keeps thinking about it, like I have, gets my highest blessing. So imagining what could happen and trying to think about the meaning of the game is very cool. However, I do think it's important to mention sometimes you don't have all the information, or I had a different expectation about how certain info would be interpreted or combined. Anyway, while I think it's good to keep an open mind as to what will ultimately happen, I want to say that you guys should keep having as much fun as you can. I think this part I really want to talk about, because this surely means that there's one major theory that has to be wrong. Or like one major thing that's speculated about in a certain direction has to be wrong. And I've been trying to think about what it is, because this part has been like plaguing my mind. And like I can't quite figure out what I think is happening. What major theory could possibly be wrong? So I've seen people say that he's talking about Death Knight. I really don't think it's any Knight candidate. Because, like, if he's saying it's good to keep an open mind and keep having fun, it's not going to be the thing that we have, that the fandom has speculated on the most and has the most different answers for. It's not going to be any of the Knight candidates. That's not what he's talking about. Could it be something to do with Friend? I don't know enough Friend theories, because to be completely honest, I don't care that much about Friend. I don't have. What if the Dark World in Chapter 6 is Castletown? Like, what if we go through that door? Because that's how they could turn Castletown serious. Just a thought. Like the door at the back of the castle, behind the cauldron with all the wings on it. Especially because it's been set up to take Noelle there. So, I don't know. Maybe she'll ask about the door. That seems like something that she would be interested in. So my thought on what the theory that could be wrong is, I have multiple choices, but my first main thought was, is it less Thursdayism? Because that seems to be like a general consensus that, like, not quite a general consensus, but like something that came about from the Weird Route. It could be like, no, the game didn't just start last Thursday, even though yes, it started on a Thursday. The game, the world actually was real to them. Like, it's not just all created all at once. They actually did experience their past. Everything happened. Asriel's real. Death is real. papyrus is real. Nothing is, like, fake. My idea for Last Thursdayism personally has been kind of anti-Last Thursdayism, where everything was real, and then on the Thursday at the start of the game, it stopped being real, it became a game when we entered. I don't know, that was my thought on it, and I've not seen anybody else really discuss that. But the other idea that I had, there's another theory that I'm worried that it is, but I really don't think it would be that, because I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, how can you not think that people are going to interpret that in that way? So I'm not going to mention it. But the other theory that I think that he might be talking about is Tree Ralsei, because I can see, I do not believe in Tree Ralsei, by the way. I can see people talking about everything that Flowery says and taking that as Ralsei is pretending that he's not some, like, third category. He's pretending to be a Darkener, but he's not a Darkener. He's a secret third thing that he doesn't believe is, like, valuable or whatever. But I feel like any potential proof for that, I can see all of that being completely accidental. I can fully see it being a coincidence, because, I mean, Ralsei with the hat on looks like a Christmas tree. But I don't think Ralsei has really anything plant themed going on, / anything potentially plant related. It's just a coincidence. I fully believe that Ralsei is, like, a special kind of Darkener, in the same kind of category as the Titan and the Spawn and stuff. I feel like that's what Ralsei is. I feel like Ralsei is in there. But yeah, I think that what's being referred to here is the tree theory. That is all I can think of. Because, yeah, it's heavily speculated what Ralsei is. And yeah, there's a lot of different ideas, but it seems like Tree Ralsei, it's either people are continuing to speculate, or people have settled on Tree Ralsei. I feel like those are the two answers right now. And I can see this being what he's talking about. That makes sense to me. Plus, this says, like, the speculative art, stories, and theories that you come up with while the game is still ongoing will forever be special, because this is the only time such things can ever be created. All of you are creating a time capsule unique to this single fleeting moment in time, and I think that's something to be incredibly proud of. Isn't it great that you're right now playing this game as it comes out? And the, like, speculative art and stories and stuff, that I feel like makes sense that it's a theory that you could draw or write about, or, like, do something with, that isn't just, oh yeah, I think this is where the game is going, I think this is, like it needs to be something that you can draw, and I think some kind of, like, I don't know, I think Plant Ralsei fits with that, but I don't know. What's Girona? I never once asked this question. When I was younger, my older sibling would say stupid anime-style made-up names and then pretended to attack me. One was, "It's my Girona." A couple other phrases are also references like that, including the unused voice clip Blinkle Blizzard. Amazing. My sibling encouraged me to add "It's my hummingbird" as another quote to the game, but I haven't got that done yet. Will I ever? Probably not. What's Kiki? Kiki is my cat that won't shut up. She gets incredibly noisy every second you don't play with her. She watched her room on TV and didn't understand it was her. She's like if a cat's brain was put into a cat's body. The song in the room is the song that I sing to her every day because I love her. It's not fan service for you, but it's Kiki service for her, even though she doesn't like it. She's bothering me right now. I didn't know this room existed when I played it, but I do plan on getting into this room when I replay Chapter 5. I kind of forgot until this newsletter, so... Oh, that's why it's doing that! I thought I was just doing that! But it's why I hover my mouse over. She doesn't like mice, that's funny. New merch. Fangamer has released new merch for Chapter 5. More items are planned, as well as some items for previous chapters too. Like a Queen plush or something. Please! Please! Please give us Queen! Please! By the way, I told Fangamer not to expect to make too much merchandise for Chapter 6 and 7. Which is interesting, because to me that implies no Gasper merch. I desire and enjoy corn. Happy summer and enjoy the corn. There was like a... So if you took part in the ARG, there was also like a link here to deltarune.com/chapter 5. There's a link to this, which... Yeah, so this is bigger than all of the other numbers combined. And then this is about the development. Same time as 7, so yeah, that means that we would get the weird route and the normal route for chapter 7 at the same time. So we aren't getting anything with chapter 6. Chapter 6 is just straightforward, which makes sense. I had no idea what to make of this, but someone in YouTube comments on someone else's community post said that this probably refers to like the overworld and like the map and stuff. This is the progress on that. This is the progress on cutscenes. This is the progress on battles, and this is either bug testing or like the final boss for 7B, which is the weird route. And I hate that this newsletter has made me now interested in playing the weird route again, because I didn't want to play the weird route after chapter 5. I didn't want to play it. I really didn't. It was... But now I do again. Because now there's a whole chapter. I mean, I guess I've got all the way until chapter 7 comes out. But yeah, very interesting to wake up to a newsletter, because I was fully expecting the next one to come out on the Undertale anniversary, because there's always one around the anniversary. I was not expecting to wake up on a random day in August and there's a newsletter. So, I don't know.